Good morning, everyone. Appreciate you all stopping by. Today we're doing our episode 1 of Meet the Streamer. We have a Fixer TV waiting. We'll get started in a few moments. Questions will be allowed. They will be vetted before asked. And questions have not been reviewed by Fixer, so these will be first time you've ever heard them, at least for me. Good morning, Ebe. How you doing, buddy? I'm gonna head over just to Altdorf and just stand in there while we do this. That way I can pay attention. I'm a little bit late getting this actually up and running, so I do apologize. Making Fixer hold on a little bit, so a little rude on my part. Good morning, Rav. Good morning. Getting ready to start here in just a few moments. Fixer, you there?
No.
Let me turn down the music a little bit.
Yeah, I'm here.
Good morning, Acid. Okay, Fixer. Glad to have you here. This is our episode 1 of Meet the Streamer Content Creator. I really appreciate you making the time out of your day to stop by in this little place of mine and helping me out, helping you out. I hope.
No worries, man. Glad to help.
This is actually an idea that you did a couple of years ago, and it was actually one of my favorite things that anyone on this server has ever done. And I know I asked you a couple times if you're ever bringing it back, and I kind of got the impression that you didn't really have an interest or a want to do it, and for some reason I wanted to do it. So I spoke to you a little bit and got your blessings. I wanted to kind of bring it back.
Yeah, why not? I mean, if the idea is good and people want to, take it further, why not?
I agree. Acid says hello, Fixer.
Hello.
Rav says hello.
Hello.
So just to start things off a little bit, kind of so we have an idea of who Fixer is. Any personal information you want to share, where you're from, age, sexual orientation, anything you want to talk about?
I don't know. I'm from Greece, as most people know. Some of them do know me. I'm 42 years old. I'm a content creator. I don't think I'm a YouTuber or a streamer. I'm a little bit of everything there. I do a little bit of everything. I'll be doing this for 4 years, more or less. I think that's it. I don't know.
Awesome. I thought you were from Germany.
No, I am from Greece. I live in the island of Crete, and like I said, I've been doing this for a while.
I'm
not married yet.
I only said German because I remember the first time we did this, you actually thought I was from Germany originally.
Well, there's a lot of people who play Warhammer from Germany. Your accent, is reminding me of that kind of region. So.
And you said you're not married yet. Are you engaged?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
No, it's if I had a little bit more money, probably I'd be married by now. But we'll see when that happens. If it happens, we're happy the way we are, so I'm just gonna leave it at that.
That's fair enough. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. So you said you've been doing content creation, YouTube, streaming for about 4 years, correct?
Yes.
What drove you to want to do content creation or YouTube?
Well, I was oblivious what Twitch is. So I was playing Warhammer here, and I was doing one of the scenarios, and it was the first time I did like I think 820,000 damage. And Archmage that was healing me, marking one, said, "Oh, first time I see somebody finally do some damage. You won the video." I'm like, "Video? What video?" He said, "I've been recording this on Twitch." I'm like, "What the hell is Twitch?" He gave me a link over to his channel, so I went over. I've seen the video, download the video from there, and then I kept on, having a look on Twitch, and I thought, "Yeah, this is good. I can do this, for fun." And then I started doing that with the ups and downs. Started with no camera, a $5 microphone. It was kind of fun. And then I've seen that people were watching. I wanted to do more. I want to provide more quality. Bought a new microphone, a new headset, then a new camera. Build it up from there. It came a point. I started doing some videos in the game, so I needed a YouTube channel. Went there. When that was done, I felt got to expand a bit, get this Twitter going and Instagram and this and that, and moved over. And then more people came in. They gave some donations. God bless them. We got more cameras. We started doing the cooking. Then I saved up some money, started doing the traveling videos. And, after that, it was part of my life as it is now. You know what I mean? I wake up, log in, and start doing content. Then I expanded a bit, tried some other stuff like podcasts and writing articles. So at the moment, it's part of my life. So I'm still exploring other things to do. Like the podcast is not me, doing YouTube videos is not me, but writing and streaming, so far I'm keeping those in the cooking. So I like those. That's how I got into it, and I got stuck, like addicted to it.
So you started off just doing the basic, Warhammer, Twitch videos, YouTube videos. Do you
I started with Twitch actually streaming. It was a microphone, no camera. And like I said, the microphone was like $5. And then people were saying, you gotta have a camera, you gotta have a camera. So I bought one with $10. Actually, there is a video on my YouTube when I was using those stuff.
Yeah, I
Embarrassing
remember
these days.
I remember your old I call it a cigarette microphone headset you used to run with.
That's the one I'm using now. If you see some of my streams the last couple of weeks, the other one broke, so I'm using that, but I have it in reverse. So the cigarette thing is at the back. You don't see it. I need to go buy a new one.
Got you. Okay. So do you like doing YouTube more or Twitch more? Do you have a preference?
Twitch. I don't like YouTube. I mean, if it was streaming on YouTube, right, I wouldn't have a problem. But I'm not a YouTuber. YouTubers, they gotta make a video or 3 videos a week. It's a lot of work, a lot of editing. You need to have constant content. It's not for me. Twitch streaming is what I like because I have interaction with the people. So I see some YouTubers, for example, and they do a patch comes up, hey, my opinion on the patch, and then the next day, hey, I want to tell you that I had a pizza today, whatever. So they make videos like that all the time. I do that in a daily basis on Twitch, and I get answers directly. I mean, it's better interaction on Twitch rather than just making all these videos about whatever comes to your mind every now and then. So yeah.
Have you ever considered streaming on YouTube instead of Twitch?
I have streamed on YouTube. It's not as flexible as Twitch. However, with YouTube, having your videos, your tutorials, and the stream there, I think you can attract a lot more people. The only problem is if you're not one of the big boys, big boys, the guys that have, let's say, I don't know, 6,000-7,000 viewers plus, it's very difficult to move over because they make an announcement, they move over. For us, it's a little bit more difficult. People are more used to Twitch than YouTube for streaming, but YouTube has a bit more compact the situation with the videos and the streaming, and it's getting better. You can use Stream Elements, Streamlabs, you can have your overlays and all that. So depends what people like.
Yeah, I prefer Twitch over YouTube as well for basically the same reasons. I prefer Twitch over YouTube for the interaction aspect of with viewers. I think it's a much better system.
Well, you can still have interaction in YouTube. It has the chat, it has the emotes, it has the subscriptions. Okay, maybe it doesn't have the beads and stuff like that, but and it's not a bad service these days. It got a lot better in the last couple of years.
Yeah, I agree.
But like I said, I don't know. I mean, if I go today and stream on YouTube, I don't think I'll have as many people. Most more people will just be on Twitch. You know, it's kind of like established as a gaming platform, so for streaming. So
Got you. Got you. Okay. Let's go ahead and talk a little bit about your Warhammer life. So you said you started Warhammer on this server 5 years ago?
I started pretty much when it came online, maybe a couple of weeks later or something like that.
So 2013.
And yeah, and then I took I don't know, was it 6 months break? Kind of rage quit. You know how that goes. Then
So do I.
friends came around and say, "Come on, you gotta rejoin the gang, kind of thing, and play." So I go back into it, and I've been playing ever since.
Now, do you prefer to play, with friends, with allies, by yourself? What is your personal preference of playing?
If I have a choice, I prefer to play with like small groups, whether they're my real life friends or guildmates. Depends on the day. I like playing with everybody. Solo, it's okay. When you're bored, you don't want to be very social, kind of thing. But small groups, the warband play, I find it a little bit boring.
Now, I know your engineer is what you're known for on this server. Is that still what you like to play, or do you like to play other classes actually more?
No, I still like the engineer, but I feel he needs to get some love soon. I don't feel his gameplay is what it was. I think Sovereign destroyed a lot of builds that were like, off the beaten path, to put it this way. Like my tanky build is not something somebody would play, but Sovereign destroyed it. Then the sets are slightly weird because like the warlord that I'm wearing at the moment, it has massive armor debuffs, which means I personally, in a small group or solo play, I get no benefits from it. I mean, being a grenadier, I don't deal with armor. So this is something you gotta have for the warband, and then maybe use the sniper build, the sniper gear, the sovereign set, to play grenadier to get more like single target output or more damage. I don't know. It's a little bit weird, and
awesome,
from your experience, you can see that not a lot of people like engineer for ranked, for small group, doesn't have the burst, doesn't have the mobility. It has issues, along with the Magus, of course. I mean, they have kind of like the similar issues. And the day of this interview, I don't know what is the future of those two classes, because to tell you the truth, I don't know if you heard this, but apparently a level 26 IB 2 days ago soloed a level 4086 known Magus on the server and killed him. So I don't know what to say about that one.
I wish I could, but I certainly cannot do that. But I think there's always clips or videos. I mean, there's a clip of like a 20 something witch elf kicking my ass when I was 90, when I'm like 92 on my Slayer, destroyed me. So I think
the bolster is kind of weird, and somebody said they changed the way it works. I went actually back and seen it, and on the 19th of December 2021 they changed it. It decreases level by level now.
Yeah,
so I'm not sure if that maintains more power to the leveling character or not.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm working on a lobby myself. I'm kind of testing things out, and the whole gear and earning crests and things like that. But this is not about me. This is about you.
It's always about me. I'm modest too. Did I mention that earlier? Sorry, I don't know.
So since you brought up the Magus, do you play a Magus?
Yeah, I got a 40, 60 something or 70 something. But I've always interested in playing, builds other people don't. I like to explore. This is why I started playing the engineer. It has all the gadgets, and it has like a lot of builds. What I mean is the Slayer, for example, that you play, you got single target, AoE. That's it. You don't really get a variety. But the engineer, you have a long range sniper, a medium range sniper. You got AoE grenadier. You got AoE debuffer. You got utility. You had my tanky build, which with sovereign gear, it's kind of destroyed. And then you could mix all those up and get something on your own, like a tinker build for forts. I got all these builds in the past working excellent. That's why I liked it. So the same applies for the Magus, but I'm more kind of like stuck on the server in order. I like to pick one side, play with one side. So on live, I was playing Destro, Squiggy, Witch Elf, and Zealot. That's the three classes I was playing. When I came to this server, I fell in love with the NG. Guns, turrets, and all this. Didn't like the demons from the Magus match. And I've been playing that ever since. I mean, and the only reason why I have Destro right now is because I'm streaming, and it's nice to show to new people that come in, all the classes, all the sides. Even if I do play like 90% order, I still have the ability to go over some of my high class or low level and show a few things of the game, promote the game, help people into it. Otherwise, I would just be having fixer. I don't really care about any other class in the game.
Okay. I'm similar to you. I just recently started a Destro tune myself, but I've been basically solely order for the whole time I've been on the server.
It's hard. It's hard playing only order.
Yeah, that's a topic that I talk about constantly, but again, this is about you, not me. I'm not gonna get
into no, but I'm playing order as well. That's what I'm saying. That it's hard playing order because those that play only order all the time, and they don't change sides, they don't get due to the time zones, a lot of time that they dominate, and the board is really imbalanced. And I'm saying this for one reason, that I would like the Destro players to appreciate those that play order a little bit more, because without us, when they extra and go to the other side, if we decide to quit, there'll be no one to play against. Game over.
Well, since we're kind of on this topic of Destro versus order and things of that nature, do you find an actual playstyle difference of playing on order and also playing on Destro? Is there an actual mentality difference that you see yourself?
Oh yeah, it's huge. It's very different because of the classes, and also depending whether you main order or you main Destro. Because regardless if you play both sides or if you X-Realm or whichever term you want to use, it depends. For example, order, okay, the same as Destro, will not engage in a fight unless they have a severe numeric advantage. Otherwise, they're coming, they're running backwards. They don't even wait to see how many people they are. As soon as they see movement, they're all backing up a little bit. The difference is that Destro will stick together because they play melee class, so they want to be next to the dock, they want to be next to the tank, you know what I mean? Order will spread out, and that is a problem because when they push, they don't. The attacker doesn't go in a mass; it goes in one play because everybody spreads out, mounting up, leaving. So it's a whole different thing there for the classes. And also, if you play, for example, main order on the gameplay, when you switch over to play Destro, right? And let's say you play Slayer, right? So when you play your Slayer, for example, you care if you die, how you're going to look, how many kills you're going to get, things like that. Once you switch, let's say, to your Chopper, right, which is for fun, leveling up, seeing how the character plays, whatever, you don't really care if you die. So you play more relaxed and you don't put as much effort. So that changes the gameplay, and you already change your mentality playing the other side. Not everybody, of course, but some people. I think most people play like this. I do. And if you kill my Squiggy, I don't care. So I'll just go pew pew whatever.
No, I care no matter what I play. It's life. I'm kidding. So if there an argument could be made that people play both sides, fairly frequently. So if people play, let's say, the melee ball on Destro, and then they move over to order, why don't they play how they know how it works on Destro? Why don't they play the same way on order side? In your opinion, why don't they? Or vice versa?
There is a lot of people that play classes according to looks. They don't care if it's ranged, if it's melee. As long as it look cool, they play it. That's it. So, order, according to most people, don't have any cool looking classes, So that's one reason. The other reason is people, for example, if you compare the lion, people don't want to have pets. They're kind of like problematic. So Squig differs a little bit because it has range. You can use ranged pets that don't have the pathing issue that the lion has. And then I don't know. According to what most people that I talk of, and often it's industrial characters and players, it feels like Order Melee just don't have enough AoE to be in warbands in this, so people don't have fun. If you don't kill, you don't win. You don't win is not fun. Nobody cares about the fight. It's all about winning. So, I suppose that's one thing. And as you know, Slayers, as choppers as well, it's difficult to level up. They die a lot, and also the different mentality. You know how many tanks we have. We Order doesn't have a lot of tanks due to population, due to the better, the worse. I don't know. It's just not around. And since most of the server right now is 65% Destro, the chances of finding a tank to make your melee gameplay more enjoyable are better than finding one on Order side.
Okay, I mean, I can understand what you're saying. Part of that, I mean, I do agree most of the time that players originally, if they don't follow lore, like Ravzar, who comes to my stream a lot, he's a lore guy, so he cares.
Oh, yeah.
He cares about lore more than, let's say, what a class has and abilities. He likes lore. But somebody like myself who doesn't know shit about lore, doesn't care about lore, um, maybe they choose a character purely off of looks because they think, oh, that looks badass, and that looks, for example, Swordmaster, to me, it looks disgusting. I don't like how a Swordmaster looks. Whereas, a Chosen or a Black Orc or whatever, they look fucking badass. But that's just my personal opinion. So I could see some people choosing that based off of look solely.
Yeah. Same way people say, I don't play the Magus, I don't like the disc.
Yeah, but the disc has a huge advantage over everyone else, but that's a different story. I mean, you can pick up supplies without dismounting on a Magus. You can't do that in any other class.
No. But okay.
Okay, so recent changes in Warhammer. You kind of said earlier about how Sovereign ruined your engineer, in your opinion. We recently...
No, it just ruined. Sorry, it just ruined one of my builds. That's it.
Okay. Now, do you play a different build since Sovereign came out?
I made one, but I'm not really playing it. It's a warband play for armor debuff, staggers, and stuff like that. So I need a group. Solo, I don't think it can do much. But when I have time, I'll do another one. I'm exploring some other out-of-the-box builds, like a full region build, which I don't know if it's possible. I know Whittles have one. We know Chosens have one. I haven't really seen any region builds in Order that have been advertised, kind of thing. People talk about them on stream or in game. So I'm looking for the engineer, something like that, in conjunction with potions, the keg, and things like that. But unfortunately, lacking some of the tools, like a tool where I can put how much toughness to see how much reduction in DPS I'm going to have in this and that. It's really time consuming and expensive to replace all my armor tallies with toughness just to do the math, and then stuff like that. So it will take a while, but I'm trying to explore new ones, because the other path all the DPS have in the game is very simple. You go glass cannon or nothing, and glass cannon, most DPS anyways, because there's some very tanky witch elves out there. It's glass cannon or nothing, and you just die. If you want to output the damage, because the problem with the engineer is, if you try and play Grenadier for the mobility, all your spells are AoE, so the damage is less, because you meant to hit 24 people. If you're doing 200 damage, then you do like 4,000 damage, right? So they can't really make it 500 when it's only on a single target. To have the same output, let's say a dot from an Archmage we have, or a Shaman. So you got to go over the top, like 1.2, 1.3k ballistic. So you got to sacrifice a lot just to play solo. Otherwise, you just have to park the engineer and only playing warbands, and that's the problem. Because the alternative, which is a sniper build, is just sitting on top of a wall, just waiting for someone to come through, which is really boring. So I don't know. Maybe it's the specific class. Maybe, I don't know.
So while you're not really maining your engineer, It sounds like to me anyway. What class are you playing?
Uh, I bounce left right depending on the day, trying to level up everything else. So I'll see what options I have at the moment. Play a lot of a single, of a DPS Archmage, single target. It's kind of fun. Die a lot, but
Get the
you know,
fuck out of here. Anyway.
yeah, it's a lot of fun. You run around, you just throw some dots and keep running. People die. Woo, easy money.
Yeah, I know. Anything else? Any actual real class that you like to play?
A real class.
Yeah, a real class.
I play a little bit of Witch Hunter, but it's problematic. As everything.
Well, I mean, what about your squid critter? I saw your squid critter if you about a week ago. Do you not enjoy squid critter?
Yeah, they're fun. I just don't enjoy playing Destro.
Okay, so what about order makes order more fun to you than playing Destro?
I have targets to shoot. Let's start with that. Because like when you play Destro and they come down,
I can't stand
68%,
DPS amps.
by the time I get anywhere, everything is dead. You know, I run in. Let's press tab to hit something. Press your fair ability is already been pulled by choppers and it's dead. It's like, what am I doing here? Watching 4 people knock on the door. Yeah, order is better. More targets to shoot, even if you die more, because you have things to shoot at.
Okay, so you like playing order because there's more Destro to kill, but you get frustrated playing order because of how order plays. Is that a fair assessment?
Order players and the fact there's a lot more on the other side. Every turn you get, more against. It's 1 versus 2, 1 versus 3. It's a problem. Plus the mentality, you know what I'm talking about. People not engaging in combat, they don't want to die, they don't fight if they don't have more people. I suppose people should engage if they have like 2 or 3 less or equal numbers, should be attacking. Or, at least fighting, not running away.
Now, some people would say that's a thing of being greener on the opposite side. Do you agree with that, or do you think it's an actual problem?
No, the same thing happens on Destro. People just buck up, they don't want to die, they don't want to fight. That is a common between the two sides. The only difference is it's harder to see it on Destro, especially on the hours that we play, anyways, because they will not back down, because usually I have a lot more anyway, so they keep pushing forward. On a 24-hour cycle, Order has less players online than Destro. Just to cover all the time zones so nobody gets pissed off.
Yeah, we all know Americans prefer order, but anyway. So recent changes have changed how you earn gear and how you earn weapons. What is your opinion on that changes? And we'll dive in depth more and more about the topic, but do you find the change to be positive or negative?
It's irrelevant, to be honest. For me, I mean, it's a good change overall for most people anyways, but I say it's irrelevant because it has nothing to do with removing all the other currencies and giving you one currency. It's not that. The thing that makes this change good is the fact that people now have a choice. It's all about the choice. And to make this clear, so we removed all the tokens and they gave us one. Now you have that one token currency, and you can buy whether you want RVR gear or scenario gear or weapons or this and that, right? So you have one thing and you have a choice. If they didn't do that and they just allowed you to convert any coin to any with some sort of exchange rate, you know what I mean? And then allow you to just buy anything you want with those, then it would be the same thing. It's the choice that makes it good, not the fact that it's one.
Okay, so I agree with what you're saying. Giving players more options is always better than limited options. I agree with that. And the whole conversion.
It's more convenient to have one coin, of course. But what I'm saying is, it's the choice that makes it good. You could still, if you had the choices with all the other currencies, mix them up, convert them up and down, and not in one direction, it would be the same thing. It's the choice that makes it good.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. And I think if they went the conversion route, it would make it more confusing because people would have to figure out, okay, if I convert this token or crest or whatever into this, what is my ratio going to be? How much will I get for it? Things like that. So this makes it a lot simpler in that regard. For established players like you and I don't think it really matters one iota. How about for new players? What do you think about that?
Like I said, it just makes it easier. The good part is the choice. Although we don't have full choice because there's a few items locked behind specific content, which from a player perspective sucks, but from a dev perspective, it's a good thing.
What do you think about the system of you have to buy let's say gear A before you buy gear B to get to gear C? You can't just buy gear C. Do you agree with that or disagree with that?
Yes, I think they should buy them. Yes, I don't see why not. The thing is, a lot of people try to level up very quickly, and with a new system, is not a problem. Don't forget, everybody's rushing to the end, and the devs have to have a way to slow things down because a lot of people will go to the end, get the gear, and then simply quit the game because I've heard a lot from a lot of people. Oh, I've made it to 4080. I got all the gear. I'm done with this game. I beat it. Goodbye. So they gotta have a way to slow down people. They gotta be money sinks or currency sinks in the game, and that's one of them. If people don't like it, it's because they don't want to play the game. A lot of people just want to be done with it. It's not a chore; it's a game. If you don't
I
enjoy
agree. It's a good
logging in
change.
every day to play to gain the currency, then maybe you should consider playing another game. I don't know, Tetris maybe.
Okay. What about the city changes? Do you like the new city queue system? How it is now basically scheduled instead of pushed when the players want to push it. What do you think about that?
Well, the whole schedule situation kind of sucks. I always enjoyed in this game the fact that you could log in and surprise your enemies. It was a mechanic, especially for organized guilds, where this game was designed for organized guilds and warbands to say, okay, you know what? It's Saturday. Let's log in and go and surprise them, take the city, and do some damage. Now, if you know what time it is, you have time to organize and this and that. I think they should remove that. I don't like it. However, I do like the queuing system. This is something they should have done ages ago. I mean, like ages ago, because now all the instances start at the same time. The system, configures who fights who, and that's it. So we wouldn't have all these grievances we had in the past of, oh, hold on, let me log in this other side on my other account and see if that A guild is already in an instance. Okay, it is. Let's queue up now. Let's avoid the pre-made. This doesn't happen anymore. That was a good thing. But we'll see. It's still fresh and it's time to be, tested. Not by me and you, of course.
People on my stream say that they actually like the system, that it makes it more fun for keeps and forts and the fighting for that. Do you agree with that? Does it make the campaign more fun, or does it seem a little less like things matter to you?
Well, they never mattered anyways. It's absolutely no difference. I mean, you had to take the keeps before, and then you have to take the keeps now. Nothing has changed on that front. The only difference is um, before you would have a break. And I think that's what people didn't like. There was no continuity. What I mean is, you finish the map, you start it again, you kick the next one, you start again. There's no, oh, we took 2 forts, the city is opening up, so you don't have that break in between. So that gives a little bit a faster gameplay, sense of a faster gameplay, which is good. Now, whether the cities are scheduled, I don't know. I don't do cities, so I'm not sure.
Well, what I mean by doesn't matter is kind of like what you said earlier. You could have, let's say, Guild A log in, run an organized guild warband, and let's say dominate the server for 2, 3, 4 hours, and maybe push a city with, of course, help on their side with their friends or whatever. Now you can have Guild A log in and basically play for 4 or 5 hours or whatever, and maybe feel like they didn't really accomplish anything because of the city queue system. Do you agree with that or disagree with that?
What do you mean they didn't accomplish anything? They didn't like push to go to the city. Like the
Yeah,
goal
yeah.
was to
So, I
take
mean,
the city.
some people view
There's
city
no
as the major content of this game. As city is the the epicenter of for them for some players, and now they can't do that when they play. Do you think that's an actual issue, or do you not see it as an issue?
I don't see that an issue because you don't gain anything. If it was a prize to be won, right, we would have had a little bit of more realm pride kind of thing, and people would defend them or not. Now it doesn't matter. I mean, who's attacking what city? Is it Order? Is it Dastro? Since we're mixing the sides so frequently, we don't. It makes no. It makes no. There's no value to it. Plus, like I said, you don't gain anything. It's not like if you take Destro City, you're going to lock them out. They won't have auction house to buy potions. They will receive rest renown or XP. The leveling characters will be slowed down. There's no benefit to keep controlling one and keep pushing to maintain it for a long period of time. It's just another scenario. I don't see why that is a thing. For me, Warhammer always been about the fights, fighting and killing. Now, whether you take the city or not, that's different. No, I don't think it matters. Myself, no.
Okay,
It's
so
just another scenario on the list of the mech campaign.
so if they made some sort of system where if you took a city and if you held it for, let's say, control or dominated your opposite faction, let's say Destro dominated Order for a month, would you be in favor of Destro getting some sort of bump in either leveling or renown or money, or would you be in favor of something to be had by dominating, or are you against it?
That would make sense to have the cities. Let's start with that. That would be a good way to say, okay, I need to organize and push because for the next, I don't know, a day, 2 day, I'll have a boost to my characters, or I can help my guildmates who are still lower level leveling get a boost on XP and renown and, help out. So it's a benefit for the whole realm. Maybe a mechanism like that would make the realms Order and Dastro come together and stick to those sides for those bonuses that we'll be gaining. So don't play the other side. And that is a very good theory. To be honest, I did submit at some point to the devs, to the dev team, a 6 page long idea like this, buffing the entire realm through the cities if you win or lose. Don't know what happened to it. But although that sounds amazing on paper, that, if we stick to our sides and we dominate the other sides and we win the city, we keep them out, we get bonuses, yay. Unfortunately, as you know, it's not going to work. And that is another problem because it will be the side that the 4 or 5 organized guilds want to level that will be dominating the other one. So it will maybe cause more problems.
Do you go by the philosophy, because I've talked about this on my streams in the past, something like what we're talking about, and some people have brought up that all that's really going to do is the stronger side, may that be Order or Destro, will just stay dominant and they will never be overtaken because people want the rewards and they'll just play the stronger side. Do you buy that theory or no?
No. What will happen is I'll use myself as an example.
So
So I
fluffy.
main Order. So I'm gonna play with Order and dominate Destro until I get all my characters, 2 or 3 that I main, maxed out. Once that happens, I'll switch over to Destro with the rest of my gang and group and alliances and all that, and I'll dominate Order to level those up. So it will fluctuate left and right, but the control will be as it has been so far to those 3 or 4 organized guilds that they decide to play or not to play, because that is also something people don't get in account, that a lot of times, let's say there's 4 guilds on one side, 2 want to go to the other side and push and get some benefits. The other ones never change because we have those guilds as well. They just tell them, hey,
If
we're
you
going to
guys
be
have
there
any
for a week.
questions, go ahead and
Don't
post them in
screw
the
it up for
chat,
us. Just
and
don't take
I'll
the
review
forts, don't
them.
defend too
And
much, have
if
some
I think
fun.
it's a valid
That's
question, I'll
also
ask Fixer.
something that could be happening on the background. It's not only necessary you have to switch to win. You can not play or don't put so much opposition specific maps to assist the other side.
Okay, so you don't buy the theory that one side will just stay dominant for, let's say, 8-10 months out of the year. They'll actually be more balanced in the form
Um,
of who dominates who.
no, that used to be the case in the past, where according to the numbers I had, anyways, 6 months Order was dominant, 6 months Destro was dominant, and we're just kind of having this like cycle. After Sovereign, things changed. After more people came in and the X-Realm became more of a thing than just a flavor, it's heads and tails. It goes day by day, week by week. It depends on who logs in and who doesn't, whether they need the event stuff. For example, I said on one of my streams uh, a little bit further back when Land of the Dead started that Land of the Dead will be dominated by Destro until they get the jewelry. Once they get the jewelry and the new weapons or anything else useful, it will be Order time to dominate because they're going to switch to their alts. You know? So we'll see. So far, as far as I know, Order has lost every single Land of the Dead. Let's see if I'm right or not.
I have not been to Land of the Dead at all, so I have no experience at it.
Oh, I went over there just to see the Ventures, but I haven't played it because the times that comes up is also specific. I don't stream and I don't play those hours, so I can never do it.
Yeah, that's something else I was going to ask you is with how, Land of the Dead or, again, the city's scheduling is going to affect people depending on where they live. Do you think that's going to be a good thing or a bad thing on the long-term life of the server?
Nah, not really, because what I think will happen is those people will complain a little bit, and I can understand the frustration. I don't play, and we're all gonna want those two-piece jewelry because they're really good. However, as we've seen, 6 months later or something like that, a lot of people don't play as we do 8, 9, 10 hours a day. They will make it cheaper. They will make it easier to access. Things will change. It's still fast. So I would say to them, don't get frustrated. Eventually, you will get it as you get everything in this game. Just not right now. Just if some of your guildmates play more, that's why they're there to give you a hand when you can't. So.
Okay, so I personally myself, I don't know how I really feel about the whole scheduling system. Being a
In
North.
general,
Well, I
I
mean,
never
generally speaking,
liked
yeah.
schedule. I never liked schedules. This is something I didn't like in Crowfall, something I did not like in New Worlds. I don't like scheduling. I like to log in. If there's people, there's people. If they're not, good luck next day.
Okay, I think there's pros and cons to both of them. All I'll say is I wish Land of the Dead was a little bit more like, for me, more like, I talk about this a lot, and I don't know if you ever played it. I don't recall, but Darkness Falls and Dark Age of Camelot. That's how I wish Land of the Dead was more like. A zone that you would access after you have one, let's say, city. Your faction would basically have full rights and access to it, but it was also a PvP zone. Now,
That's why I wasn't live.
yeah, I have not been there in this iteration, but it seems to be more of more of a instanced scenario type of an area to me. Um, and I personally, I don't know if that's true or not, but I don't have any incentive or want to try it out. But that's just for me. I wish it was something that I could, let's say if Order of One City, they would have access to that I could go into at, let's say at 3 a.m. and do my farming, do my PvP in Land of the Dead, and fight in there, not have like a scheduled system or whatever the case may be. That's my only opinion about it.
That's how Land of the Dead was in live, anyways. And when Secrets Past was streaming, he was showing as part of the Land of the Dead that we're working on. They were showing the dungeons, the mechanisms, the traps, the puzzles, the whole shebang of how it was in live with all this, PvE, PvP mixture, PQs, and dungeons there. And then when Land of the Dead came out, now it's a glorified 150 versus 150 scenario. It's not your opinion; it is a scenario, which, from the looks of things, they're trying to reduce zerging, but the mechanism they're using with the flags is actually promoting zerging. Despite those little debuffs you get that you deal less damage and this and that, it seems like it has almost no effect on reducing the zergs. And the changes they did, that you cannot take any flag you want, only 2 flags further down the line, no further, also makes the zerg stronger, wanting to move from 1 to 1 anyway. So I don't know what plan they have there, if they have a plan, but it is a scenario. It's not just your idea there, as you think. It is a glorified scenario, which it has good things in there and only takes 300 people. So in a prime time Friday with 1,000
After
people,
this, I will do that, Gabriella.
700 kind of screwed.
Okay, yeah, I haven't checked it out, and like I said, I have no interest in checking it out myself, but that's because I don't like instance content, and I just view it as instance content. But Anyway, I do have a question for you from some of my viewers, and one of them, or one of the questions is, um, Random Fails wants to ask me, or wants me to ask you about your Witch Hunter. Um, do you have any? What's your opinion on Witch Hunter? Pro cons? What do you think about it?
Well, it's a class you wanna have when you wanna play solo, like really solo. I don't think they have any good spot on the warband. They don't have massive AOE or anything to be part of a warband. Small group for ganking and solo. That's what you want. It's a good class, bursty class. It can do a lot of damage. Not sure about survivability versus tanky regeneration build against the Witch Elf, but the problems with the Witch Hunter and the Witch Elf, this is a common problem they have, is that until they put invader gear, you need to have either 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Witch Elves or Witch Hunters in a group, or be in a group to kill anything. It's almost impossible to kill anything until you get invader gear. I am on Annihilator gear, and I can't kill a level 22 Squiggy, for example. It's just the damage is not there. With 500 DPS and the bolts are active, it's just not happening. God forbid you attack someone that's on full sovereign. That's the problem. Other than that, is both them, him and she or whatever, and the Witch Elf, great classes for group and for solo play.
Okay, thank you. Another question from Ravzar is he wants to know, what do you think engineer needs to get or have improved to make it a better class? And do you think order plays too many engineers? And is that actually a downside or an upside?
Um, Revzar, I can't really tell you what it needs to be better or good because we're going to be here until Monday. A lot of things. Really quickly, without going into detail, they have to look at damage output, animation, builds, gear, turrets, mechanisms, AP usage, spells, things like, a lot of things there. Along with the Magus, and you had to put them down together and work on it because they have two different, they are very similar, but they have almost completely different playstyles because the utility on the engineer and the more selfish orientation of the Magus feeling more as a DPS, where the engineer feels more as a support class, being possibly the only support class in the game. I know the Squiggy has a lot of support, but I don't think anybody plays it. um, whether Order is playing too many engineers, I have to say that for now that I'm coming back into Warhammer and play about twice a week and a little bit on the weekend alone, it feels like there isn't as much engineers as there used to be. I think a lot of people moved on, and it was apparent to me why when I came back the damage just it's not there. When I run around a level 38 archmage with annihilator and I'm killing sovereign people, and then I'm on a full sovereign engineer and I can't kill anything on a mobility grenadier build, unless I go full glass cannon, which means one chopper pull I'm dead, one witch elf I'm dead, one dot from a salmon I'm dead. It takes a lot of the solo play out of it. And as you know, a lot of people, including myself, we like to play one class and have the ability to play solo and groups and warbands. We don't want to say, oh, what time is it? Oh, so my friend's not here. Let me play the Witch Hunter solo play. Oh, 5 of them are online. Okay, let me go and play my Room Priest. Oh, warband time. Let me switch to my engineer. No, it's not going to happen.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Now,
Well, sorry, because I've seen what Draves says. It doesn't matter if it's a problem with the engineer or the archmage, the shaman is broken, or the chopper is broken, or the slayer is broken. What matters is the gameplay. They gotta fix whatever to do that.
okay. Now, kind of off topic of Warhammer itself, you are a variety streamer, um, and you recently have returned back to Warhammer. Why have you returned back to Warhammer?
I love the game, despite the fact that it makes me rage quit a lot, for many reasons, which I'm not going to go into it. I always like Warhammer. It's fun. It's one of the few games you have the ability to have multiple builds in one character. And I don't mean like, change the weapon and you're a different class, just to play different styles: offensive, defensive, solo, AoE, and the PvP is good. I like how you have keeps, you have all these mechanisms and the posterns and the cities and this and that, which you don't get to other games, at least not done so well as this game. And surprising how the new games haven't learned anything from the games of the past, like Warhammer.
No, I definitely agree. I think new games have a lot to learn, and they don't pay attention to what either has worked or hasn't worked in the past. But again, that's a different topic for a different day for me. Now, do you have a set streaming schedule, or do you just stream when you have time, or do you stream Monday through Friday, Monday through Sunday? What is your stream schedule?
I stream Monday to Friday, every weekday, 6 hours a day. Games depend on the day, of course, and very rarely I do weekends if I have time, because I keep the weekends for my family time. And occasionally during summertime, we might do outside streams, which they kind of like get scheduled for different time. That's why I mentioned them. Could be in the morning, rather, because usually stream 5 to 11 local time. But when the weather's better, I tend to take my mobile phone and go and do some streams out at the beach, different areas, weekend somewhere. We've done a few testing ones last year, kind of fun.
Okay. And what one more question about Warhammer, kind of going back a little bit, that somebody actually asked me a couple days ago. They wanted me to ask you your opinion on it. Is when Warhammer does these events, like we just had an event where you can get a special mount, for example, the Land of the Dead mount or whatever the case may be. Do you think it's a good thing or a bad thing that these things are temporary, they're not permanent? Would you rather have them be permanent fixtures, or do you like having them be temporary fixtures?
It has nothing to do with what I like or I don't like. The fact is, there's only 20 mounts on the database. If they give them out, then they will have nothing later. At least we get a different mount to have for a little bit, play with it, have some fun, and then when they need to use them again, they come back later. That's it.
Okay.
It's for the best of the server. If they give them all out, then they have nothing, and those kind of events make the game go higher, at least for a little bit, on Twitch. Be able easier to be discovered, get some more people into here. They want to relive the younger years, the nostalgia. It's a good thing to happen.
Okay, so you actually like the incentive that it brings on the short-term basis.
Yeah, it's for helping the server, get a little bit higher on Twitch and be easier to be discovered for advertising. That's what we're helping to do. Keep the game alive. Bring more. You need new people every now and then to keep the game alive.
Okay, I agree with that. I mean, I understand. I understand both arguments to it. I personally would like to have a mount permanently instead of my gyrocopter, but I understand. Another question, kind of going back a little bit, is we recently just finished Twitch drops for Warhammer.
Mm-hmm.
As a content creator, streamer, YouTuber like yourself, do you find that Twitch drops is a net benefit or a no change for you as a content creator for Warhammer?
It's a tiny change, tiny. Because a lot of people will come in for the drops, and most likely sometimes they will come in different hours than they usually would. And it would give you something like it will give you something, I don't know, 0.1% retention. Out of 1,000 people, you'll keep one or two to your stream. That will be the only benefit if you're lucky. Everything else is superficial. The views don't count for anything. The average don't count for anything. The follows don't count for anything. And as you know, Monday come after the drops, you back down to your normal numbers. So
Yeah, no, I completely understand what you're saying, and I agree with you. I'm actually I'm not really a proponent of the drops on Warhammer myself, but that's a different, again, kind of a different story for a different day for me, anyway. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and finish this out here pretty soon. We've been on here for about an hour, and I told you this would last about an hour. I'm going to open this up to I'm going to open this up to viewers to see if they have any questions for you. I have a couple more for myself, and then we'll go ahead and end this shortly. So speaking of Warhammer on this server, what would you like to be the next implementation of content? What would you like to see as a player, a long-term content creator on the server? What would you like to see next?
What I would like to see, again, it's kind of irrelevant.
No, it's
Because
irrelevant in the grand scheme.
I'll
But
tell
for you,
you. But what I'm saying is, it doesn't matter what I want. The thing is, what they can do. That's the problem. Because I can tell you for a fact that they have a lot of ideas and good ideas, but they're severely limited by the tech of the game, their coding capabilities, the tools that they have, the time, and the amount of people working on this. That's the biggest problem. The game is limited. This is why I keep emphasizing how important it is when you play this game to be in
it's
here
a little long,
for the
Rev. Can you
fighting
shorten that
itself,
down a
because
little
you're not
bit?
going to see new areas, new expansions, new weapons. You're not going to see things like that.
Okay.
What I would like to see, because in contrast to you, I do like instant PvP. I like the scenarios. I would like to see more scenarios with more distinction between puggy and pre-made ones. Not one pug, 9 pre-mades. To have more options and variety for both type of styles. And I would like them to change the mechanisms a little bit to not promote zerging onto these things. They were always were the alternative, the more strategic version, the multiple ways of winning instead of zerging.
Okay, so talking about Zorging a little bit, since you kind of brought that up in this area, I personally don't think, at least in Warhammer and in current games, that you're really gonna stop Zerging through a mechanic, because people, in my opinion, are gonna choose what is easiest to do, not what is most, let's say, fun. Do you agree with that, or do you disagree with me?
No, people will always zerg. It's like you said, it's easier to do. And what does people want? Easy, fast leveling, easy, fast gear, quick progression, easy wins, and stuff like that. But that doesn't necessarily mean that the game has to help them. I'll give you an example. Take, for example,
Rav, I know what you mean.
Grommel's Crossing, the scenario, right? The one with a bomb, if I'm saying the name wrong. You go in the middle, you fight for the bomb, right? And then you move to the next flag. And then the whole group moves to the next flag. Then you're going to move to the next flag as a group, the next flag as a group. So that promotes zerging. There's nothing else you can do. You move from flag to flag. But if before, when all the flags were open, if people wanted to zerg, they'll go in the middle of one flag and zerg. But you that don't like zerg, you had the option to leave the zerg, go behind the enemy lines, because there's different paths in every scenario, and capture those flags. And while they'll blindly keep trying to kill people, you are gaining points through the flags. Or if they're fighting on a different flag, you grab the bomb and run the bomb and get the 80 points. You had bomb, go behind them and grab the flags, or kill them. Now you got only kill them. So if you are outnumbered, or scenario, you won't be outnumbered, but you're going to be outgunned. So if you can't win the first fight, you die. You try again, you lose. You don't have enough firepower, healers, or things to beat them. You have no other way. So you either go in and die, or you AFK and wait for it to finish. You know what I mean? There should be more options on those ones. That's the zerging situation about the flag is something you do on open RVR with bigger fights.
Okay. I see what you're saying, and to a point, I would say I fully agree with you. I think there is something to be said, though. Let's say for Grommel's Crossing, as an example that you're using, where a coordinated group that actually moves together and plays together. Now, I'm not saying pre-made, but actually coordinates, can overcome odds of, let's say, healers, tanks, or DPS versus a group that just runs around aimlessly like we used to have in some scenarios.
Oh, I agree with you. But when the other side also plays organized, then you're just outpowered. Don't you need to have another option? Okay, we can't beat them due to DPS. Let's beat them strategically. They're not paying attention to the flags. Let's capture them.
No, I fully understand what you're saying, and there is a case to be said about if we can't kill you, let's, for a better term, PVE beat you. and the PvE option in a lot of scenarios is no longer an option. I understand what you're saying there, and I agree with you that I wish that it wasn't just a purely single capture the flag system on some scenarios. But I do think that on sometimes a coordinated effort can overcome um, a balance problem in that scenario. Not always, but it can.
Yes, but like I said before, like with the currency, it's nice to have options.
No, I understand. I agree with you. I mean, I understand where you're coming from, and I guess that maybe it's my inexperience of actually doing scenarios a lot is probably going to show up in that type of conversation for me because I don't do them often. So, somebody who does just mostly solo play at open RVR, I don't really do a lot of. I do maybe 3 or 4 a day, if that, and then I'm done. I don't generally find them fun.
Tosh, you may want to stop moving around. You're breaking up on the microphone, or speak louder. I
Oh,
can't hear you.
I apologize. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay. Um. Okay. So another question somebody had was in regards to live versus private server. Do you find that live is a better implementation, or do you find that the private server is a better implementation of the same game, in your opinion?
Um, well, live had a lot of issues. I think going above sovereign and live server kind of screwed the game up a little bit. They made their own mistakes. I would say there are two versions of the same game, of course, but which one is better? It depends what you really wanted. Some people wanted to have the IB Immortal against the Warband. Ha ha ha, I can take them on. Some others want something different. I think that on this one, definitely they've done better job, at least at controlling the bugs, and they fixed a lot of issues that made the game a lot more enjoyable. Of course, there's always going to be the debate whether they've done the classes better or not, or the balance and this and that. But to be honest, the game was inherently unbalanced, anyways. So I don't think we're going to see a great improvement on that. Um, they had some good ideas introducing some more classes to bring some more balance, like the Beastmaster and the Paladin and some other ones, which it's no longer on the roadmap, to put it that way. Um, but if they're going to do anything, and this is a problem, some people I think they don't realize that when they make a mistake, because they're only human, right? So they will buff something a lot, then will nerf it a little bit or tweak it, or they will just completely do something wrong. It has to stay that way for a very, very long time, you know, because they work after they come back from work when they have time. It's a side project, a hobby, and it's only a few of them. And I think that is a good reason that a lot of people get aggravated. For example, I think Raveser mentioned somewhere on the chat that the balancing patches take too long, every 13 to 14 weeks. So imagine if your class, if out of the 24 classes, the other 22 have been buffed, right? And you're the last class waiting to be buffed, and you have to wait another 13 weeks or 17 weeks if they skip a patch like they did now because of the Land of the Dead event and all that. It can get a little bit frustrating when you can't play your favorite class. But I think they've done a better job than live. I would, if I had to pick right now, the way live was when it shut down to this today, I would pick this.
I 100% agree with you. I did not enjoy live myself, and I for substantial reasons prefer this iteration of the same game personally for myself. Now, kind of in the same type of topic, do you think they've done a better job of balancing classes now in this version versus, let's say, 3, 4, 5 years ago? Do you think they did a better job under, let's say, different leadership or points of view, or do they do a better job now?
Um, I am not qualified to talk about leadership or whatever. But I think that today, 2022 March, um, after playing here for 6, 7 years, I would say that they have lost the plot on what they're doing with the classes, like overall. I don't think, I don't think, I think like if you were talking about this 3 or 4 years ago, I would say that they have a plan, you know, buffing the classes, correcting them, making them more whatever. Right now, I would say they have no idea what they're doing. I feel that I need to put this into words so I can explain what I have in my mind. It's they have an idea of what they want to do, but they don't have a plan of what they want to do. So what they're ending up doing is reacting instead of acting to fix the classes. They are reacting to the mistakes they did or what the community is complaining about, and they're trying to navigate between appeasing the community while trying to balance the classes. You know, so there's no clear plan. That's how it's going to be, and that's it. And then listen to the community and do the tweaks. We're listening to the community what they want because we don't have a plan. Of course, everybody, including me and you, I'm not excluding anyone, has an opinion of how every class should be, you know, and all these voices can be confusing. So we do it and then we listen to the community for the main changes, then we tweak it ourselves. And, you know, there's no true plan there. And I will also say, closing this answer, that it is almost an impossible task to balance this game. I've tried it, and I'll say again, I say this every time people ask me. Um, I gave up after 2 months trying to put everything down into paper to balance it. And my solution, which is not going to happen, but that's where my mind took me, was mirror the classes 100%. That's it. Flip a coin. And let's say if you flip a coin and it lands on Slayer, the Slayer gets copied to the Chopper. You flip a coin. If the Magus comes up, the Magus get copied on the Engineer. And then you have 24 classes, 12 and 12 mirrored 100%. So nobody can say, you have this, I have that, you don't have this, I don't have that. And just, you know, bring it down to gameplay. Of course, that's not the flavor of the game. Nobody wants this. That was my conclusion, trying to balance the game. That's what I'm saying.
Okay. No, that's a fair response, and I think your response is with merit. I personally, from me, I've been on the server now for 6 years. I appreciate what they do now in the form of, let's say, communication and events and things along those lines from a player's perspective. But when it comes to balancing classes or what their roadmap is, I think they are lost, personally. I don't think they really have a plan anymore. They just kind of just, like you said, they're more reactive instead of proactive. They do something when somebody complains about something, and then they try to fix that complaint instead of actually, let's say, improving the game all around, in my opinion. But anyway.
I just want to say something there. There is, like we say, there's no plan for the balancing part, but they do have a plan for the server there. I mean, this is what they announced in the last Q&A. Don't remember when it was. We're talking about expanding Aldorf, expanding IC, introducing the rest of the regional cities, finishing Land of the Dead. All that it is content. It is things that are going to come into the game at some point, but 99.9% of the population don't care because they're all kind of like PvE orientated.
Do you think the population won't care because they won't be around to actually see the content when it finally is released? Do you think that's a concern?
No, it has to do with the population. It has to do with the mentality of the server. Most people consider this game to be PvP, and they don't want to do PvE. They don't care to do PvE. Algrand is not as exciting PvE as it is like in New World or World of Warcraft or Final Fantasy, but it's still there. There's still content, and as a dev, trying to keep this game alive, you got to keep all the aspects alive, including PvE and PvP. People sometimes seem to forget that and say, "Oh, but this is a PvP game." Yeah, it is mainly, but they're trying to keep the whole game alive. So, and that's it. Plus, without a lot of people in budget, they can open up new areas, introduce more stuff from the lore. It's limited. I'll say again, if you don't play for the fighting, then your time here is limited.
No, I agree with you. I mean, especially being a very small team and basically a pro bono team, and also a team that doesn't have access to, source code or whatever the case may be. I think they do as good a job as any publishing team could do, and I think on some levels for a game, let's say take New World. New World looks amazing, sounds amazing, and for me was a lot of fun for a month. But after that month and the fresh paint went away, I was extremely bored with New World. Um, Whereas Warhammer, I don't have. I get aggravated, I get frustrated, I get ragey, but I don't necessarily have the same type of boredom feeling. Do you agree with that, or do you have a different feeling with it?
It depends on your perspective or why you play a game. Um, for example, no offense, you play for the fighting, but that's all you play for. You kind of like the um, with inverted commas the arena guy. You want to log in, kick ass, log out. Yeah. So this is what I call like the arena kind of mentality. You want to log in to your character, go fight, and then log out, and that's it. You know, maybe grab some stuff from some money you get from killing people from Eventor, and that's it. That is an arena kind of style game. It's not MMORPG. An MMORPG, in my opinion, that is, it involves you playing the full extent of the game, including farming, crafting, doing dungeons, repairing your gear, crafting your gear, trading, doing the PvP, doing the instant PvP, doing everything, you know? And this is what New World was trying to introduce, which they've managed to introduce because they have other issues. Can't really analyze this right now. So they kind of like went into um, the PV heavily, and they launched a game that was 30% done. But I can tell you, Tosh, if you own the game, which I know you do, try it again in September, because March you're getting 3v3 arenas, you're getting leaderboards, you're getting new maps for PvP and other things. They starting to actually complete the game. So September, you should have another look into that.
I can do that. That's not an issue. I'll certainly go and
Yeah,
take
I mean
another
the
look.
arenas are coming out this month, at the end of this month, 3v3.
I personally I loved New World for the first month. I just the audio alone had me
It,
sold on it. But
Tosh,
yeah,
take it for someone that has 1,500 hours registered on that game. It is a good game once it's completed. Consider it a pre-beta version at the moment. Right, yeah, I'm telling you, check it out in September. You'll see the changes. The Great Sword, Bundle Blast, arenas, and stuff like that. So the PvP aspect you love is going to be there even better, and the PvE I like is going to be actually improving and working.
gotcha. Okay, I'll check it out in September. Okay, so last question for the day, and this could be a volatile question, and I actually got it from the stream. That is from Random Fails. He wants to know: do you see a difference of playstyle between the younger audience and, let's say, the older audience? Someone my age, who's, let's say, over 40 versus somebody who's in their, possibly in their 20s. Do you see a different playstyle, or do you not see a different playstyle?
Um, I'm sorry, kind of lost you. Can you repeat the question?
So yeah, the question is that do you see a different playstyle from a younger player versus an older player like myself in the form
Oh,
of of their mentality of what a game is, or how they want to play?
yeah.
Younger players get accused a lot of doing things wrong or incorrectly or whatever the case may be. Do you agree or disagree?
It's um well, I don't know if they get blamed a lot or not, but there is definitely a different play style, a different mentality. And to tell you the truth, I can blame the new players, the younger in age players or new players, because there's like two categories. There is the new players that have never in their lives played an MMORPG and they just stumbled on this. It has happened. um, and there's also the younger age wise players, 20s, 17s, whatever, which are playing with people which are 40 like me, 50 like Morgan, it says there, which we've played other games, which we know what it means to grind, what it means to take you 2 months to level a profession, and this and that. So the mentality is two worlds apart between younger age players and older age players, um, because of our experiences in MMORPGs and all this. But the younger players also have, um, let's say, extenuating circumstances. The fact that they don't know any better. The games, if you see all the modern games compared to Warhammer, they're all about leveling fast, getting things fast, 2 buttons, 3 buttons, and things like that, easy. dumb stuff, and that's it. I mean, look at New World, since we mentioned it, right? Um, they already reducing the amount of XP on professions to make it faster, the amount of they're reducing the time you need to get gear, they're reducing everything, because the younger people that play, they want faster and faster and faster. So in an old game like this, that you can't have that, and you can see that when it comes to gearing, you'll see that a lot of the younger players are the ones that complain the most about how slow it is to gear up, how hard it is to gear up, and oh my god, I have to play the game to gear up. Unheard of. Yes, Morgan, the grind is the game. I agree with you. But the new players, they've learned on mobile phone. Click, click. I'm level 20. Click, click. I'm finished the game. Bye bye. Moving to the next one. I know. That's why I play Warhammer. I love the grind.
Yeah, I think it's like you said, it's a difference of what people have been exposed to. I mean, if you're 17, 19, 20, 25, all you really know is the fast-paced movement of games, the get it now type of instant availability. Whereas if you're 40, 50, 60, the old original EQ games, you had to basically play for months and months and months to get what you wanted, and people were, let's say, more accepting of that, also because they didn't know any different either. To them, that was their first experience. There wasn't anything really prior to, let's say, EQ or whatever the case may be, for on the internet. Yeah, you had books and things like that, but tabletop, but those were the first iterations, so to speak. So even someone like my age, there was no prior to know any experience from. So I think that's one thing that's different.
True.
But that's gonna go ahead. I'm gonna go ahead and conclude it now. I really appreciate your time. We went a little bit over, but I appreciate you being so honest and forthcoming. I had a lot of fun. I hope you had a lot of fun. More than likely, we will do this again down the road as follow-ups and things along those lines. I enjoyed it. Do you have anything you want to say? Anything you want to plug? Anything you want to advertise? I know you have a website. I know you have a Twitter. Go ahead and throw that information out.
Yeah, well, if anybody wants to follow FixxerTV, we got Twitter, we got a website with a lot of stuff for Warhammer, Return of Reckoning, guides and information about PvP there. If anybody wants to check it out, YouTube channel. What else we got? I don't even remember what else we got, man. That's it. I mean, come check us out on Twitch at some point when we're around. And that's it. Thank you very much for inviting me over, Tosh. I hope your project, this project, gets revitalized properly. I did enjoy myself as well, and best of luck.
Thank you, Fixer. I will certainly go ahead and throw all of your information in the chat so that way the viewers can visit your pages. And I really appreciate you stopping by. And thank you again, Fixer. I appreciate it a lot. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, everyone. That's going to go ahead and conclude the interview with FixxerTV. Next week, we're going to be doing episode 2. It is going to be on, it looks to be on Monday. We are going to be interviewing Toth Monra. He's going to be my episode number 2. It's going to be on Monday. I am still working out a time frame. Probably will be a little bit later than it was today with Fixer. And then the following week, I am in communication with somebody for episode 3 and also episode 4. So I'm going to try to keep this going as a weekly event. I appreciate you all stopping by, and I will now go ahead and get to my normally scheduled programming, which is dying a lot. So